Discovering Truth, we're going to start today. And this chapter, it deals with the importance of knowledge of the past. That when we are aware of the past, we are able to appreciate all the changes that we have made. We are able to, like understand our present even better. And yeah, like think about the future also. And connected to the past, it gives us a sense of right what you can say as a sense of growth, the changes that have happened, right? And I think so, studying about the past, about the cultural practices, about the history, about the rulers, that has always fascinated curious minds. Now, Discovering Tut, it deals about the study of one of the most powerful pharaohs. Was it? It was King Tut. He was a very young pharaoh, and he became the pharaoh at a young age and died mysteriously also at a young age. So there was a lot of curiosity around him. And it was just by, like accidentally that the mummy or the tomb of his was discovered, the pyramid. And how did it all happen? Earlier it was, like the study of history or the study of the past. It was not so much of detailed with the changes which have happened nowadays, but with whatever information that they were able to gather, all the records were maintained, and yes, the proper studies, or you can say the proper sequence of events, was arranged accordingly. Now, here, when we talk about the Egyptian pharaohs, one thing that we all know, it is about their burial practices, about the religious practices. They firmly believe in life after death. And for that, a lot of preparations are made. And the king here, the pharaoh, is worshipped as a descendant of God. And it is, the people here, they think that afterlife, yes, they have to be prepared for that. So they start making those preparations, and the pyramids which have been made, they are testimony to the regards or to the strength of the belief in the afterlife, right? So here in this chapter, King Tut, it's about the discovery of his pyramid and how with scientific techniques the study has become the mummy. And what did he do? He, like when he went into that pyramid and he saw the treasures, the funerary treasures also, which till date are the richest funerary treasures which have been found, right, among the burials of the rich pharaohs. And the Egyptian right. So, King Tut's funerary treasure, it was one of the richest, and even the coffin in which he was buried, it was of gold. So there were these three layers there of the coffin, and each one of them of solid gold. And on the cover, there was the face of the king, the mural of the king there, and that was also in gold. And when we search for King Tutankhamun and we look at it, that typical mask which he wore there, you can see that as a representative image. So it was there quite famous, and the treasures, everything was there. So all the jewelry that he had, his armlet, even on his feet there, on his toes, everything there of pure gold. Now, surprisingly here, Howard Carter did not have any interest in all the jewels and whatever. and he made a complete record of everything that was found. Then he wanted to study the mummy. He wanted to study about the mummy which he had taken out. And yes, in the funerary practices, what was there? That it was embalmed with herbs and medicines. And as we see how the mummy, it is there, the wrapped in the bandages there. And with all the herbs which were used at that time, that even after so what was done, that Howard Carter, he made an extensive study about that. He made a record of all the things that he had, recovered from the pyramid. And so now he wanted to study the mummy. But what had happened, the process of that mummification, or the herbs that had been used, the ritual resins that had been used on the body, it had hardened over a period of time, and the body was now stuck to the coffin. So it was very difficult to remove it. And if force was applied, there were chances that the body would be damaged irreparably. So what did Howard Carter do? He kept it out under the sun. And the Egyptian sun, very high temperatures over there, very hot over there. So what happened was he kept it under the sun for a number of days with the hope that maybe that resin might start melting. And this did not happen. But then after, some time, what did he do? He used the physical force. He chiseled the body out of the coffin and he removed it because he just wanted to study it and he wanted to put it through the scanner. Why? Because of the curiosity which was there around the king's sudden death. He died at a young age. What could have been the cause? It would lead to further studies about that very important dynasty to which he belonged to. So he wanted to, put it through the X-ray and find out what could have been the cause of his death. Was it a natural cause? Was it, you can say, some kind of motivation? Was it murder and all? So he wanted to study that. So in the process, what did he do? He removed that body from the coffins and kept it out. And when he kept it back, kinds of things. He removed all the gold ornaments that were there on the mummy because he felt that if gold diggers do come over there, at least they would not damage the mummy, right? So they would take other things if they had to, or because there were chances there. That is what gold diggers come. They're not aware about the history. They're not aware about the importance of those things which are there in the pyramids or along with the mummy. They come there for jewels, right? And who would come? Outsiders would come. The local people never went near the tombs. They never went near the pyramids. That area here, the valley of, you can say, the kings, it was kind of out of bound. Why was it that nobody went in that area? It was because of the curse of the pharaoh. So they believed in the supernatural. They believed in these divine forces, that if they went near those pyramids, a curse will fall on them. So now when Howard Carter, he took that out, yes, so he wanted to keep it safe from the gold diggers who might come to take all the ornaments or the jewelry. So he's kept it back. Yes, it was in a damaged part, right? So wherever the joints were there, and but he kept that cotton and things so that it would still remain as in the shape there. So then the X-ray was done, and what was found? A few ribs were missing, the breastbone was missing, right? And so it was believed that it could be that, yes, the reason here, it could not be a natural one. And right? And the X-ray, it gives a two-dimensional picture of the organs, as we all know. Now, after so many years, the story unfolds once again. It continues. There is still a lot of curiosity about this young pharaoh. What Howard Carter did, he did do a lot of damage, But what did he do? He maintained a very good record of all the antiquities, of all the things that were recovered from the tomb. Now, here, like what is there in the present, we're still talking about. We'll come to the past later. We're talking about the present. Now, what is happening here? The body has been taken out of the coffin, right? After so many years again, and it is going to be put through a CT scanner. So it is modern science and technology meeting the past burial rituals. So the body was going to put through the CT scanner for its three-dimensional study. The CT scanner, what is it going to do? It's going to give these kind of slices of images, and they're going to recreate a 3D image of the body, right? And yes, the body was taken out, the CT scanner was arranged, and everywhere there was a lot of curiosity. People from far and near coming to see the young pharaoh who's come out of his, what you can say, out of his tomb, and they have come to take a look at him. People are also scared. They're coming there with the kind of doubts in their mind that, see, we have disturbed this person, and what if the curse comes into existence? There's a curse which people believe that if they disturb the bodies, yes, a curse would befall on them. And coincidentally, what happened as the CT scan was going to start, the wind also, the clouds also coming, the dark gray clouds and the winds blowing, the kind of eerie atmosphere was created. It seems as if the gods were also against it, that you have disturbed this young pharaoh from his eternal sleep. You're taking him out and you're putting him through the scanner for your own scientific curiosity. You're meddling with past rituals and practices. And this is where scientific curiosity takes over, right? And it, you can say, it contradicts or it contrasts with our religious thinking. So sometimes, yes, we have to sacrifice many of our ideas and belief if we want to progress, right? And yeah, science is there, it's neutral, does not believe in any kind of faith or any kind of practices, and it is for the benefit and for the development, right? To get more complete information. Now, what happened was, yes, so it is, you can say here at this time, when the body was put through the CT scanner, it seemed as if both the forces were in existence, the past and the present, right? The old ritual beliefs and the present modern scientific techniques. And what did the people think at that time? As the wind started blowing, the fans, they stopped working. Sand, because of the sand, the fans were not moving. And everybody in their heart of hearts, in their minds, they had this fear, they had this doubt that the curse has come into existence, right? Or the curse has come into play, and the people are very worried about it. And yes, they have come to see the young pharaoh who has been taken out for the first and maybe the last time, and for public viewing. So they're all, that whole eerie, sinister atmosphere is there. Then what happens? Yes, the fans were immediately, you can say, brought about, and the CT scan was done. And it was such a surreal kind of a moment. That is, yes, so many years ago, a person who lived and who is no more, and his physical remains are there in front of us, mummified and embalmed with the raisins, embalmed with all the herbs, and he's being put through the CT scanner. And what was revealed, they could see that the picture there on the CT scanner, the screen coming alive with the 3D images, the pixels there and the picture forming, and virtual, say that image there of the young pharaoh was there right in front of them. So it was a very, you can say, a historical moment, a spectacular moment, a moment combining two streams of the past and the present of culture and science when this moment took place. But yes, everything happened very smoothly. The CT scan was done, and the king, after that, after the scan was done, after the CT scan was done, he was put into sleep once again for eternal sleep, and he was returned to his coffin, right? And everyone, all the officials, all the historians, all the scientists, all the technicians, like with a bated breath, standing nearby and hoping that everything should go smoothly, everything should go nicely and properly. And everything did go all smoothly. And as soon as this whole process was over, the sky also cleared. The wind that was blowing, which was even adding to that airiness, which was adding to that scary atmosphere, even that wind also started or stopped blowing. And the body was once again laid to rest under the constellation which guards the kings even in their afterlife. Okay, so that this was about the present of the modern era that happened, the scientific, you can say, intervention that took place about learning about the past of the pharaohs. So yes, the virtual image also, the CT scanner did not reveal anything more than what the, you can say, the X-ray had shown, what Howard Carter was able to find out. So it showed that yes, the breastbone is missing, and a few ribs missing, the same thing that was there. So it was the same which was shown by the X-ray. So not much added to it, and still, the mystery still continues there. What could have been? Now, talking about the historical past, talking about the life of this young pharaoh, King Tutankhamun. He came to the throne at a very young age, died in his teens only, and he inherited a very powerful dynasty, one of the most powerful Egyptian dynasties, right? So he was, yes, at a young age. And what had happened before him was that there was a very brief history of his predecessors where things did go a little wrong, right? So his uncle had changed a few things. Amenhotep, he had changed the capital. He had changed the god that they worshipped, right? And all these changes which he had brought, it kind of made a lot of ups and downs, and made a lot of twists and turns, you can say, in the history of their dynasty. So when King Tut came back, he restored everything back to normalcy. But unfortunately, his reign was very short lived. He did not live a long period, and in a very short time, he died, and leaving that, you can say, mystery about his dynasty, mystery about his death, kind of incomplete, right? So, and at that time, even according to the burial practices, so these massive pyramids were constructed, and all the murals inside there with all the gods and goddesses there were painted, would protect these people in their afterlife, and all the riches and all the jewelry. So it was a very hurried, you can say, the cremation that took place. What sources do tell us from the plants that were found on the shroud of the body? It was covered with that shroud. Over there, the plants that were found, they show that it was a mid-March or an April burial, right? So yes, so you have, botanists there studying about the plants which were there, or the pollen which was available, or the seeds which were there, the leaves here. They study about that, and they try to relate it to which plants were available at that time. So we have botanists at play. We have the archaeobotanists, the archaeozoologists, paleontologists study about the fossils, right? So all these, different fields of science combining with modern day techniques, modern day technology to find out about the past. So basically, this was about the life of King Tut, right? So they came to the throne at a young age, inherited a time which was, like a kind of a lot of upheaval, where his predecessors, they had brought a lot of changes. He tried to return things back to normal. And at a young age, he's become a pharaoh. There are bound to be lots of problems. There could be enmity, or it could be, a planned conspiracy. What could have been the reasons for the untimely death of this young pharaoh. Many speculations are there, but the only thing that is really true is, yes, that there was not much of a difference between what was found in the CT scanner and the X-ray. Okay, so it's an amalgamation. Even the chapter, it is an amalgamation of the past and the present. We're talking about the past of the king, and we're talking about the present, that how the modern day techniques help into, like giving a more deeper understanding. Okay.